Just in time as always. Settle in, tuck that blanket up just so, and listen closely. Tonight's story is a slightly spooky one, but don't worry, I'll stay with you till the end. The moving van had just rumbled down Elm Street when Alex Carter pushed open the door of his new bedroom and peered inside. The walls were bare except for a single nail in plaster, and outside the window, the dying sunlight cast long, crooked shadows over dusty floorboards. "Home, sweet home," he muttered, slamming the door behind him, though his voice sounded hollow. Down the hallway, his little sister Lily dragged her suitcase, chattering excitedly about meeting new friends. Alex sighed. He was supposed to be excited, too. After all, a brand new house in a quiet town sounded like a fresh start. But the place felt off. That evening, after unpacking 2 boxes of clothes and a pile of old board games, the siblings crept up the narrow stairwell to the attic. Floorboards groaned beneath their feet, and the air tasted of mildew and mothballs. A single bare bulb hung from the ceiling, flickering as a draft washed over it. "Wow!" Lily whispered, her eyes wide. "This is amazing." She ran her hand along a row of antique trunks. Cobwebs brushed her cheek, but she didn't mind. Look at all these old decorations. Alex wasn't so sure. He shone his flashlight across dusty shelves lined with tarnished candlesticks, faded photographs, and a set of porcelain dolls whose unblinking eyes made his skin prickle. He forced a grin. "Yeah, amazing." At the far end of the attic, half hidden beneath an oilcloth dropcloth, was something that made both their breath catch. Tall as a person and framed in carved oak, an antique mirror stood on a swivel base. Its glass was streaked with dust, but even so, they could see their reflections, Alex's scowl and Lily's nervous grin. "Maybe Mom will let me keep it," Lily said, reaching out to brush the glass. Her finger left a smudge. Then, for an instant, Alex thought he saw something else. A flicker behind Lily's shoulder, a quick shift in the reflection. He blinked, but when he looked again, there was only Lily. Lily frowned. "Did you see that?" "See what?" Alex asked, swallowing. "Nothing." She shrugged and turned away. Alex studied the mirror. The frame was covered in strange symbols, swirls and angular lines that looked both medieval and alien. At the top, a small metal plaque was partially hidden by cobwebs. Alex knelt and brushed the webs aside, revealing words engraved in Old English script. "Beyond this glass lies your truest fear, but also your only way home." His heart thumped. "Lily!" She peered over his shoulder, squinting. "Only way home? That's creepy." Alex tapped the plaque. It felt cold, unnaturally so, even in the stuffy attic. "Let's show Mom," he said, standing abruptly and nearly knocking the mirror off balance. It wobbled, and they both stepped back with a sharp intake of breath as the glass caught the last rays of twilight and shimmered. With a final creak, the attic door below them banged shut. Lily jumped. "Alex!" He ran to the door and rattled the handle. "Locked." "Mom? Dad?" Lily's voice trembled. Alex's breath trembled. "It's just a wind," he lied, though the house was still. He grabbed Lily's hand. "Come on, let's go back downstairs and call them." They turned away from the mirror, but as they did, the glass fogged, as though someone had breathed on it. A swirl of silvery mist appeared, then cleared to show Lily. But it wasn't Lily. The reflection grinned back at them, pink cheeks flushed with excitement. And in the reflection, her eyes glowed bright blue, eyes Lily didn't have. They both froze. The reflection lifted a hand and waved. Lily's chest tightened. She whispered, "Alex, that's not me." The reflected Alex nodded, though the real Alex didn't move. The reflection tilted its head, as if studying them. Then it pointed to its own eyes and to Lily, mouthing, "Join us." Alex yanked Lily's hand. "We're getting out of here." He flung the attic door, but it didn't budge. He slammed his shoulder against it. Nothing. In panic, he spun around, and his flashlight flickered out, plunging them into darkness. Lily screamed. Alex fumbled for his pocket knife, clumsily flipping it open, so the blade caught a sliver of moonlight through the dusty window. In that glow, He glimpsed the reflection again. It filled the entire mirror now, both of them standing side by side, grinning wide, perfectly still. And so the fun begins. A soft voice seemed to whisper from inside the mirror itself. Alex's blood ran cold. He pressed his ear to the frame. Behind the glass, he heard the scrape of fingernails on wood and a faint, chuckling breath. Lily whimpered and pressed close. "Alex, please make it stop." He gathered his courage and stared into glass. "What do you want?" The reflection smiled slowly and its eyes glowed brighter. "Play with us." Real Alex swallowed hard. "No." The mirror vibrated as though it were alive. The symbols on the frame gleamed. A breeze stirred, though the attic was sealed tight, and from the mirror's depths, a single word echoed in their minds. Stay. They were no longer alone, and the attic was only the beginning. The next morning, gray light seeped through the slatted attic window and spilled into Alex's dreams. He bolted upright, heart hammering. Only moments before, he'd seen, no, he had felt, the mirror calling him. Beneath his pillow, his flashlight lay cold and heavy. He slipped out of bed, careful not to wake Lily, and crept down the hallway. In the kitchen, Morning Glory cereal sat half emptied on the table. Their parents were already gone, off to sign paperwork at the new school district's office. Alex poured himself a bowl, spoon trembling. He thought of the plaque's warning. Beyond this glass lies your truest fear, but also your only way home. What fear did he harbor? Failure? Letting Lily down? When Lily joined him, dark circles under her eyes, he forced a smile. "Did you sleep okay?" She shrugged, poking at her own cereal. "I keep having this dream of a girl with glowing eyes." Alex swallowed. Blinking eyes, right? Lily nodded, voice small. He didn't mention what he saw, his own reflection smiling back with lips stained crimson. He didn't mention the voice behind the glass, whispering stay. After breakfast, they waited for their first homeschool bus pickup outside the door. As they walked past the front window, Alex caught a glimpse of the mirror in the attic. For a heartbeat, its surface rippled, even across the distance of 3 floors. He shook his head, attributing it to exhaustion and a warped glass pane. At school, Alex and Lily fumbled through introductions. Graymore Middle School smelled of linoleum polish and chalk dust. Alex met his homeroom teacher, Mr. Remington, a gaunt man with ink-stained fingers and a habit of tapping his pen nervously. Lily clutched Alex's hand, scanning the room for familiar faces. But neither of them could focus. All day, Lily saw fleeting reflections of that attic, faded wallpaper and spiderweb corners, whenever she looked at polished surfaces. Once, she gasped as her reflection beckoned from beside her in a crowded hallway mirror, though no one else was there. She spun around. Nobody was there. At precisely 3:15 p.m., the final bell rang. Alex and Lily trudged back home under a heavy sky. A drizzle began as they climbed the front steps, and Lily shivered. "Can we check the attic again?" she asked quietly. Alex hesitated. He wanted nothing more than to forget the mirror existed, but he couldn't leave Lily drowning in nightmares. "Okay," he said at last. "Let's go." In the dim attic, the bulb overhead flickered. They held hands as they ascended. Sweeping away the oilcloth, Alex illuminated the mirror. A fine crack trailed across the glass, one he hadn't noticed before. The crack ran like a jagged lightning bolt, but the surface remained unbroken to the touch. As he leaned in, frost-like patterns crept outward from the fissure, curling into shapes that resembled skeletal hands. Lily gasped, "Alex, it's changing." He swallowed, voice tight. "Do you see that writing?" Across the glass, scrawled in what looked like rainwater, the words "Don't look away" formed and dissolved within seconds. "Right back," Lily whispered, grabbing a piece of chalk from an old trunk. Alex frowned. "Are you crazy?" Lily's reflection smiled maliciously. "Right back," it mouthed again, as if urging her onward. Heart pounding, Alex swapped the chalk for his fingertip and etched, "Who are you?" Immediate regret flooded him. The letters glowed silver, pulsing. When the glow faded, new words appeared beneath. "Your reflection." "Your reflection?" Alex repeated. The letters blurred and shifted, forming a second line. "We are your fear made real." A cold draft whipped through the attic, stirring loose papers and rattling the bulb. Lily's hair whipped around her face as she grabbed Alex's arm. "Let's go," she pleaded. But Alex couldn't tear his eyes away. The reflection reached out and traced one finger along the inside of the glass, directly opposite Alex's chalk finger. The contact point shimmered, and for an instant, the glass looked like water disturbed by a single drop. The attic lights dimmed and the air crackled. Alex yanked Lily's hand, and they stumbled back. Breathing heavily, Alex fumbled for his phone. His flashlight app flicked on, beam cutting across the mirror's frame. For a moment, the woodwork looked ordinary. Then the carved runes writhed, nodding and unknodding like living veins. "Stop it," Alex shouted. But the runes pulsed faster, illuminating the attic in strobing flashes. With every flash, the siblings glimpsed terrible visions. Lily's reflection dissolving into darkness, Alex's doppelganger slashing at the glass from within, and behind them, shadowy shapes gathering. Then silence. The attic plunged into darkness. Alex raised his phone, battery at 7%. The screen lit the mirror's surface. Written now in bold, dripping letters, "Look." Lily cried out as a low humming emanated from the glass. From inside, soft footsteps sounded, on wood, traveling toward them. Alex flipped off the phone and charged the mirror, knife in hand. He smashed the glass with a single blow. It shattered inward without a sound, fragments vanishing before they could fall. The runes on the frame glowed brighter, and the whole mirror rippled like a disturbed pond. Alex and Lily jumped back as the reflective surface liquefied, opening into a dark void. From its depths, flickering candlelight revealed their attic, twisted and reversed. The window was on the wrong wall, and overturned houseplants lay shattered across a slanted floor. In the center, the mirror-born versions of themselves stood side by side, identical except for their eyes, jet black, emptier than space. They smiled. Alex's knees buckled. "No!" Lily grabbed his arm. "Alex, run!" But before they could move, the void pulsed, and the apparition stepped forward, crossing the boundary between glass and wood. The mirror world Alex lunged, fingers outstretched, but passed through the air as if weighted down. A high-pitched crack rang out. The void snapped shut, leaving only the physical mirror frame behind. The fragments lay scattered across the dusty floor, but none were glass. They looked like shards of black mirror, reflecting only darkness. Panting, Alex grabbed Lily. "We have to get out of here." They dashed down the stairs, bursting through the attic door and into the hallway. The front hall was empty, no sign of the void-spawned doubles. A single shard lay on the floor, gleaming like an obsidian eye. Outside, a single crow cawed. The siblings dashed to their rooms, bolting doors. Alex dialed their parents' cell phones. No answer. He texted Mr. Remington's office. No reply. That night, they slept back to back on Lily's bed. At 2 a.m., Alex awoke to the sound of whispering, soft, urgent voices drifting from the attic. Goosebumps prickled his arms. He nudged Lily. "They're back." She shivered. "Why won't they let us go?" Alex swallowed, remembering the words in the journal he'd found taped behind a loose floorboard earlier. The mirror hung here longer than any soul should bear. It hung to show fear and to feed on it. He had yet to read the rest. If there was more, he hadn't dared return to the attic. But now, curled in the darkness, he realized he had no choice. They had to learn the mirror's origin, or it would consume them. Lily stirred, sleep-blurred eyes reflecting moonlight. "Promise me you won't let it get me," she whispered. Alex squeezed her hand. "I promise." But as the whisper swelled into plaintive cries, "Stay, play forever," he wasn't so sure he could keep that promise. That night, Alex lay awake listening to the soft whine of electricity and the distant rumble of thunder. Lily's bedroom door remained shut, but he could hear her whispers, half prayer, half dream, murmuring pleas to be free of the mirror's hold. He slipped out of bed, pad of sock feet silent on the carpet, and crept down the hallway. The storm had knocked out the power. Only moonlight filtered through curtained windows, painting pale stripes on the floor. At the foot of the attic stairs, he hesitated, heart pounding like a jackhammer. The memory of fragile black shards scattered across the dusty planks flashed through his mind. But he needed answers. He needed a way to save Lily, save them both. He reached the attic and rifled through the trunks until he found the old leather-bound journal wedged behind a stack of yellowed newspapers. Its cover was cracked, the binding loose, and on the first page, scrawled in spidery ink were the words, Samuel Worthington, Keeper of the Looking Glass. Alex thumbed through pages filled with diary entries, sketches of arcane symbols, and recipes for tinctures. One passage read, June 12, 1887. The mirror is complete. Forged from obsidian dust and polished silver, it reflects more than flesh. It reveals the soul's shadows, the fears that lurk unseen, and binds them. The first test was a success. The gullible Mrs. Croft stared too long and vanished. Her reflection remained, beckoning passers-by. A chill crawled up Alex's spine. He read on. 3 failed attempts to destroy it. Heat does nothing. Water only sharpens the image. Metal shatters into nothing but returns whole by dawn's first light. Only the blood of the maker can end it, my own, or a binding spoken by the pure heart. Alex's breath caught. Blood of the maker, Samuel Worthington, was long gone. But binding spoken by the pure of heart gave a sliver of hope. If he and Lily, innocent children, could speak the words correctly, maybe they could seal the mirror forever. He sank to the floor, clutching the journal. A single sentence near the back caught his eye. To enter the mirror world, stare without blinking, believe with all your heart, and the glass shall give way. Alex swallowed. That was it. That was what had happened when he shattered the glass. He had believed, truly believed, the mirror was alive, and it had opened for him. And Lily. A crash of thunder rattled the attic. Lightning flashed, illuminating a tear in reality where the mirror once stood. Though the frame lay intact against the far wall, its interior was nothing but darkness, swirling like storm clouds. A low humming grew, as if the mirror frame itself were breathing. He dropped the journal and backed away, but the humming turned into a voice soft, coaxing, almost childlike. Alex, Lily, come play forever. He pressed his hands to his ears to block out the plea, but it echoed in his bones. At that moment, the attic floor felt as if it sloped beneath him, and a cold wind curled around his ankles. He looked down. The floorboards had vanished, replaced by a mirror-smooth surface that reflected the crooked beams above. He dared not move. From a journal on the floor, a single page flipped upward of its own accord, landing inches from his face. He leaned in and read the ceremonial binding. By heart untainted, by flame unquenched, we bind the mirror and its wrench. Reflection fades and silence reigns. Our souls return from shadowed chains. His pulse thundered. If only he could remember the words when the moment came. A soft creak behind him. Something heavy sliding on wood. He turned and saw Lily at the attic entrance, wide-eyed and pale. She clutched her teddy bear so tightly that its leg bent at an unnatural angle. Alex, she whispered, it's happening again. He groped for her hand. We have to do it together, he said. We have to speak the binding. She nodded, voice trembling. But I'm scared. He squeezed her hand. Me too. They stepped toward the frame. As they approached, shadows spilled from its depths like smoke, pooling on the floor. Faces flickered in the darkness, pale, terrified faces of children trapped between worlds. Their mouths moved, but no sound emerged. Alex swallowed hard. On 3, he said. 1, 2. Lightning cracked, and in that flash Lily screamed. He looked down. Her reflection stood beside her, separate from the darkness. Eyes black as void, it grinned and raised its hand to mimic the binding words. 3. They spoke in unison, voices raw. By heart untainted, by flame unquenched, we bind the mirror and its wrench. Reflection fades and silence reigns. Our souls return from shadowed chains. Their words echoed weirdly, stretching and folding back on themselves. The mirror frame rattled, and the darkness swirled faster. A roar like 1,000 screams filled the attic as the faces writhed and dissolved into inky residue. Alex covered his ears, but the sound intensified, centering on the journal page between them. It glowed white-hot. With a final, deafening crack, the glow snapped out, and the darkness yanked Alex and Lily forward. They tumbled through the void. For a moment, they were weightless, the world a blur of black and silver. Alex felt Lily's hand slip from his. Panic clawed at him. He reached out and crashed onto splintered wood. He rolled over and saw that they lay on a filthy floor strewn with broken branches and shards of glass. Above them, a low ceiling of warped planks dripped with moisture. Faint torchlight glowed down a long corridor of shifting shadows. "Lily," he croaked. She stirred, coughing. "Alex, where are we?" He struggled to his feet. The air was cold and smelled of damp earth. "The mirror world," he whispered. They peered at each other, then at the corridor. Somewhere ahead, he heard distant laughter, childlike, mocking. Lily whimpered. "We have to find a mirror frame," Alex said. "If we can climb back through, we'll escape." She nodded, picking up the journal. The binding was gone, its pages blank. But as she flipped through, the binding incantation reappeared in jagged letters. They looked at each other. "Keep it safe," Alex said, tucking the journal under his arm. "We might have to say it again to get back." They crept down the corridor, boots echoing on stone. The walls were lined with thousands of small mirrors, each reflecting a different part of this twisted attic. On one, they saw themselves smiling, then fanged, then transparent and ghostly. A sudden gust of wind extinguished the torches. They froze in the blackness. The mirrors began to glow from within, bathing the corridor in ghastly light. Their own reflections stepped out, silent doppelgangers with hollow eyes and predatory grins. Alex grabbed Lily's hand. "Run." They bolted down the passage as reflections lunged from the walls, shattering mirrors with spectral claws. Shards rained around them, each dropping into nothingness. They reached a branching hall marked by a carved wooden sign, "Workshop." From within came the scrape of metal on wood. Alex pushed the door open. Inside, long tables held dusty tools, leather-bound volumes, and a large oak desk with a single candle flickering. On the desk lay a faded portrait of Samuel Worthington, quill in hand, staring sternly. Beneath it, engraved into the wood, was a nameplate. "Master Craftsman and Occultist, 1888. Lily pointed to a shelf of glass vials filled with swirling mist. "Look, maybe there's something here to help." Alex rifled through the drawers and found a small, steel-bound box. Inside was a rusted key and a folded piece of parchment. He opened the parchment, a map of this mirror world, showing corridors, rooms, and in red ink a path leading back to the attic mirror frame. "A way home," he breathed. Footsteps echoed behind them. They turned to see three doppelgangers, taller, gaunt reflections, blocking the single exit. The twins Maddie and Marcus, classmates they'd seen in the hallways. Their eyes glinted. Marcus grinned. "Going somewhere?" Alex felt Lily tremble. "Let us pass." Maddie laughed, a shrill sound that echoed as if in a cave. "You can't leave until you play with us." He held the map out. "We know the way, please." They advanced. Their reflections flickered, as though the torch's ghosts had taken their light. Alex's heart thundered. He gripped the steel box tightly. Then Lily frowned and pointed. On the far wall, wrought iron tools hung in a neat row, crowbars, hammers, a heavy metal clamp. "We distract them," he whispered. He slipped the key into his pocket and kicked a chair, sending it clattering across the floor. The reflections snapped their heads toward the noise. "Now!" Alex grabbed Lily's hand, and they dashed to the far door marked "Attic" on the map. Maddie and Marcus gave chase, footsteps thundering. They pushed through the door and tumbled into a wide room, dusty beams overhead, floorboards warped, and in the center, the mirror frame stood on intact ground. The void within swirled like a storm. Alex dropped to his knees, pulled out the key, and unlocked the steel box. Inside was a small flask of reddish liquid, thick as blood, and a strip of leather inscribed with runes. He uncorked the flask. The reflections burst through behind them. Lily screamed. Alex splashed the liquid onto the mirror's glass-like surface. It hissed and steamed. The frame rattled wildly. He unrolled the leather strip and pressed it against the frame, runes glowing silver. He whispered the incantation. By heart untainted, by flame unquenched, we bind the mirror, end its wrench. Reflection fades and silence reigns. Our souls return from shadowed chains. Lightning crackled inside the mirror world. The stormy swirl collapsed into darkness, then shattered like glass. With a final roar, the void imploded, and Alex and Lily were thrown forward onto a wooden floor. They lay gasping as the real attic came into focus around them. The bulb overhead flickered back to life. The journal lay open, pages splayed. The mirror frame stood empty, inert, its runes dull. They scrambled up and ran down the stairs, past the front door, out into the yard, without looking back. Only when they reached the street did they stop, breathing hard. Lily hugged Alex. "It's over," she whispered. He nodded, eyes on the silent attic window. "I think so." Thunder rumbled, and for a breathless moment, lightning illuminated the attic. In the faint glow, the mirror frame sat there, waiting. The autumn sky was a bruise of purple and gray as Alex and Lily trudged back up the narrow porch steps. The air felt sharper now. Every fallen leaf a whisper what had happened. In the front hall, their parents were tucked into the living room, reading with untroubled faces. Alex gave Lily a quick nod and slipped away, heading for the attic stairs. The moment his foot touched the first step, he froze. The attic door stood ajar, an impossibility, since he and Lily had bolted it shut with a chair after escaping. Lily, waiting behind him, bit her lip. "Someone's been here," she whispered. With trembling hands, Alex pushed the door wider. The attic was cold, its bulb flickering in protest. The mirror frame loomed center stage, inert and empty, but at its base lay a half-buried pile of black shards that hadn't been there before. He knelt and brushed aside dust. Each fragment was smooth, obsidian glass that absorbed light rather than reflected it. Lily exhaled. "The shards." Alex gathered them in his arms. "We have to destroy them." They descended to the basement, where a cast iron furnace sat in blackened brick. Alex dumped the shards onto the hearth and ignited a small fire. Flames licked the edges of the obsidian, and for a breathless moment, the shards pulsed. Tiny pinpricks of red light, like dying embers. Then they hissed, shattering into ash that drifted upward in gray wisps. Relief washed over Lily's face. "It's over," but Alex wasn't sure. He glanced at the furnace grate. The ash held a single, unburned sliver, no larger than a thumbnail. He retrieved it with a pair of tongs and crushed it underfoot. It fractured like a brittle bone, splintering into dust. Still, sleep eluded him that night. Every reflective surface, window panes, pot lids, even the sleek screen of his phone, seemed to watch him back. Lily's breathing beside him was steady, but Alex's mind raced. He slipped out of bed and padded to the bathroom, where the mirror above the sink waited. He stared into it, heart pounding. The moonlight on his pale cheeks made him look ghostly. He reached out to touch his reflection and froze as the glass rippled, briefly showing his mirror double's black-eyed stare. He jerked his hand away. The ripple vanished, leaving only his own fear-filled face. He bolted back to his room and grabbed Lily's hand. "We have to leave it alone," he said. "No more mirrors, no more..." A soft knock at the door made them jump. Their mother called, "Are you two okay?" They nodded, forcing smiles. She lingered briefly, concern in her eyes, then left. Alex exhaled. She has no idea. Over the next days, they went about life as normally as possible. Schoolwork, chores, even trick-or-treating for Halloween. But everywhere they looked, the mirror's echo lingered, a fleeting shape at the edge of vision, a whisper that tickled the back of their minds. Lily embraced her teddy bear each night, as though it were a talisman. Alex carried the crumpled binding sheet in his pocket, afraid to lose the words that had saved them once. On November 2nd, they decided to confront the final remnant. In the attic, Alex spread the journal open to the binding incantation. "We need to be absolutely certain the mirror can't come back." He traced the words with a shaking finger. Lily set up candles in a circle around the frame, now stripped of glass and runes. "Ready?" she asked. Alex nodded. Together, they recited the spell once more, voices stronger this time. "By heart untainted, by flame unquenched, we bind the mirror and its wrench. Reflection fades and silence reigns. Our souls return from shadowed chains." The attic lights dimmed and the candles flickered in unison. A breeze, not of this world, swirled between the beams. For a heartbeat, the frame pulsed with inner light, then collapsed inward, disintegrating into motes of silver dust that drifted toward the ceiling. The circle of candles flared, filling the attic with a warm glow. They waited in silence until the last ember winked out. Then Lily laughed, a trembling, exuberant sound. Alex let his shoulders relax for the first time in weeks. That night, genuine sleep came. When morning dawned, pale and pink, the house felt new. They carried on with school and friends. Even the nightmares ceased. Summer turned to autumn, turned to winter. Snow fell in soft blankets that muted the world's edges. On Christmas Eve, their parents surprised them with a framed family photo. Everyone gathered around the hearth, smiles wide under twinkling lights. Alex examined the glossy print. Behind him in the reflection of the window, he thought he saw a dark figure standing in the attic above. Faint as a shadow, but there. He blinked. The figure was gone. He turned the frame over. No mirror, just cardboard backing and a paper stand. He exhaled. "It's just my imagination," he told Lily, though his voice wavered. That night, Alex dreamed of glass cracking, of voices calling from beyond. He awakened to find Lily at his bedside, eyes bright. "I dreamed it again," she said. "The attic, empty, but I felt watched." Alex swallowed. "Let's promise to stick together, no matter what." She nodded. "Always." Spring arrived, and with it, a gentle peace. The Carter family hosted backyard barbecues. Alex joined the school soccer team. Lily crafted paper snowflakes in art class. They almost forgot the terror that had once consumed them. On the last day of school, Alex's teacher handed back graded essays. Alex's was covered in A+. He exhaled, heart light. He packed his bag and slipped on his jacket, hugging Lily before heading out. "See you tonight?" she called. "Absolutely," he replied. They parted at the corner. Alex felt uncharacteristically calm. As he walked, he passed by a shop window displaying antique frames. One empty oak frame sat in the center, its woodwork vaguely familiar. He paused. The afternoon sun glinted against a glass pane behind it, and for a heartbeat, the surface clouded, revealing black-eyed twins grinning back at him. He spun away, heart racing. He heard laughter, soft and distant. When he dared to look again, the shop window was empty save for the frame. No sign of the twins. At home, he found Lily in her room, sketching a picture of them playing in the snow. He closed the door behind him. She looked up. "Hey!" He sat beside her and tried to smile. "Did you see that shop window?" She nodded. "I saw it too." They exchanged a glance heavier than any words. That night, after their parents went to bed, Alex gathered Lily in the living room. He retrieved the journal, now yellow with age but intact. He flipped to the last blank page. There, in fresh ink, scrawled as though by an unseen hand, were 2 words. "Not done." Lily's breath caught. Alex's hand trembled as he closed the journal. Outside, the wind rose, rattling window panes. In the living room mirror, their reflection stared back. Perfectly normal, save for the faintest flash of midnight blue in their eyes. And somewhere, deep in the attic, the faintest echo of a crack sounded. Dawn light filtered through the curtains, painting the living room in pale gold. Alex stirred on the couch, the leather beneath him stiff and cool. Beside him, Lily sat cross-legged on a rug, the old journal open on her lap. Neither had slept deeply. Their dreams were haunted by fractured reflections and whispering shadows. "Did you hear that?" Lily's voice was barely above a whisper. Alex held up a finger as a creaking sound echoed from the hallway. They exchanged a look. Old fears flickered behind their eyes. Footsteps approached, slow and deliberate. Their mother appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Good morning, you too," she said, offering gentle smiles. "Sleepovers on the couch again?" Lily forced a grin. "Yeah, we couldn't get comfortable." Alex nodded, easing back against the armored couch. He tucked the journal beneath a cushion. Their mother frowned slightly but moved on. "Breakfast soon. Come wake me when you're ready." She retreated, and the house fell silent once more. Lily closed her eyes. "I hate it when Mom looks worried." Alex reached over, squeezing her shoulder. "She'll be fine. We just have to be careful." They sat in companionable quiet, the air thick with unspoken doubts. Outside, a lone car rumbled past, and a bird sang somewhere in the yard. Normal life pressed in at the edges of their fear. After breakfast, they retrieved the journal from its hiding place. The binding pages were blank again, except for the original incantation. Alex flipped to the last written entry. "Not done." The words glowed faintly in the morning light. Lily swallowed. "Do you think it means there's more shards? Another mirror somewhere." He bit his lip. "Or that the mirror's curse lives on in someone else's reflection." He tapped the binding text. "We destroyed the frame, but maybe the power splintered outward." Lily nodded. "We have to keep watching." They devised a plan. Every reflective surface in the house would be covered or removed. They draped sheets over mirrors, turned faceplate appliances away, and stashed hand mirrors in locked boxes. They even taped cardboard over the bathroom mirror. Their efforts earned puzzled glances from their parents, but Alex and Lily simply claimed they wanted a fun mystery game. That evening, under the glow of battery-powered lanterns, they met in the attic. The floorboards creaked with each step, but they no longer flinched at the sound. The space felt empty now. No humming frames, no twitching symbols. Only the journal lay on a small table, its pages blank. Alex cleared his throat. "We should write down everything. Rules, incantations, a map of the mirror world. So if it ever comes back, we'll know how to fight it." Lily nodded, pulling a pen from her pocket. She sketched the attic layout. The corner where the mirror stood, the trunks behind which the journal was hidden, and even the hidden loose floorboard where they first found Samuel Worthington's writings. Alex dictated. Name, Mirror of Samuel Worthington. Properties, reflects deepest fears, can trap souls, shatters into obsidian shards that reconstitute until destroyed by Maker's blood or binding chant. He paused. Add, never trust reflections, especially when alone. They worked late into the night, the journal filling with warnings. When they finished, they closed its cover and locked it inside a metal trunk, sealing the latch with a small padlock. Above it, Alex carved a label, "Do not open." As they descended to their rooms, Lily hesitated. "Do you think we'll ever be free of it?" Alex shrugged. "Maybe, but at least we're ready if it returns." He offered her a brave smile. Together, weeks passed. Winter snows blanketed the town, and Christmas carols filled the air. The Carter household buzzed with festive cheer, and Alex and Lily found themselves smiling more often. The nightmares loosened their grip, and school days felt ordinary again. One evening, after a family movie, Alex poured himself a glass of water and carried it to the sink. He lifted the cardboard covering the bathroom mirror to grab a paper towel. As he reached up, the glass pane fogged his breath, and words slid across it. "See you soon." His heart froze. The handwriting matched the mirror's final whisper. He staggered back, spilling water and scrub at the glass. The words faded into moisture droplets. Lily appeared at the door, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Alex, what is it?" He swallowed, voice tight. Nothing, just steam." He slapped the towel over the mirror and locked the bathroom door. Lily's brow furrowed. "Alex, you look like you saw a ghost." He took a steadying breath. "Maybe I did." That night, the journal in the attic rattled. In the dark trunk, a single page fluttered open. A message, scrawled in silver ink, read, "The glass remembers." Below it, a smudge of blood, fresh and vibrant, stained the margin. Alex awoke to wind howling outside and Lily's panic whisper, "It's here." They met in the hallway, eyes wide. Alex pulled the journal from his pocket. The fresh entry glowed faintly. "Come on," he said, voice urgent. "We're going up." They ascended the attic stairs, hearts pounding. Every step felt like a race against time. The attic door creaked open of its own accord. Inside, the air was icy. The candlelight they carried danced across the beams, but there was no wind. The journal lay atop the table, spine broken open. Its pages fluttered, turning until they settled on a blank page. Then words appeared. One final reflection. Below, a small sketch of two figures standing side by side, Alex and Lily, staring into an unseen mirror. They exchanged a determined look. Alex slid the padlock off the trunk and opened it. He pulled out the binding page and the map sketch. Lily retrieved the small vial of extinguished blood of the maker they had saved from the furnace cinders, residue still clinging to the glass container's rim. As the wind rose to a howl, lashes of lightning flickered through the attic window. The journal snapped shut. They heard the soft footfalls of something approaching. Slow, measured steps. Alex drew deep. "We bind it again," he said, placing the binding page on the table and arranging the vial beside it. "This time, once and for all." Lily nodded, gripping Alex's hand. They began to chant. "By heart untainted, by flame unquenched. We bind the mirror and its wrench. Reflection fades and silence reigns. Our souls return from shadowed chains." Their voices rang out, steadier and stronger than before. The attic lights flickered and died. Only their lanterns held back the darkness. The air trembled with power, and the journal shook violently. A crack split the silence. From the corner of the attic, a shape emerged, tall, gaunt, face blurred like heavy mist. It strode toward them, leaving footsteps scorched into the wooden floor. Alex's voice wavered, but Lily continued. The gaunt figure halted, fingers curling as if to mirror the words. At the final line, the words, "shadowed chains," echoed like thunder. Lightning burst through the window, illuminating the figure in stark relief. It was Samuel Worthington himself, translucent and raging with agony. He reached out, mouth opening in a silent scream. For a heartbeat, time froze. Then Alex hurled the vial, shattering it against the beams above. A gout of crimson flame poured forth, engulfing the figure. Lily thrust a binding page into the fire, and the words flared white-hot. A deafening roar shook the house. The beams cracked, splinters flew, and the attic lights exploded into sparks. The gale-force wind ripped the lanterns from their hands, extinguishing them instantly and plunging the room into darkness. Silence followed, an emptiness so complete it hurt. Alex reached out, finding Lily's trembling hand. She squeezed back. Slowly, the darkness lifted. A pale shaft of moonlight revealed the attic floor untouched. The journal lay closed on the table. The table itself was carved with a new inscription. "Here lies the end of all reflections." Their breaths came in ragged gasps. Alex exhaled hard. "It's done." Lily leaned against him. "We're free." As they embraced, a single shard, no larger than a fingernail, rolled out from beneath the journal, glinting in the moonlight. Neither noticed it. Below them, the house settled. Outside, the storm broke, and rain began to patter against the roof. In the stillness, Alex dared to hope at last. That's the end of tonight's tale. I hope it gave you a little chill and a lot of calm. With any luck, you're already sound asleep. Didn't even hear the ending, did you? But if you're still awake, well, how about another? Sleep well, dream better, and I'll see you next time.